The results you are missing are in the inches, not the miles. As always, I think that exercise is the perfect example of life. And it applies incredibly well to exercise, but in all areas, that most people are not getting the results that they want. And it's in the small, minute nuances of differences that hold them back from everything that they want. It's not necessarily the miles of effort that's missing it. It's the, paying attention to the really small details. As I said, I think exercise is a perfect example of this, because there are lots of exercises where people are going through the motions and they're not getting, especially if we're talking bodybuilding and isolations and those kinds of things, they're not getting as much out of it as they could, because they're just going through the motions. They're using momentum, they're swinging, they're slightly out of position. And then they get frustrated because they're like, well, I'm doing the work, but you're missing the key points in it. You're missing the small details that would make all the difference. And, we can talk specifics. I always like the example of an RDL or stiff leg deadlift. They're kind of interchangeable. But the difference between massively loading your back and loading your hamstrings is usually the cue that you start with, whether it's pushing your hips back or just bending forward. Most people can't even tell the difference. Most people can't feel the difference. And I've coached many, many clients on this, that the second you actually start by pulling your hips back, and you're about trying to touch your bum to the wall, suddenly you're engaging the hamstring. Suddenly you're getting that, rather than just demolishing your lower back with it. It's the subtle differences that make the difference. And it's the same with, any type of workout, but work, life, relationships, these kinds of things, that you give this much, but if you gave just a little bit more in the right way, things would change astronomically. Another example in exercise is where people think they've hit failure versus where actual failure is on the reps. When they've got nothing more to give versus when they've actually tapped the tank. Now, I think anyone who's truly done a brutal leg day, especially a leg finisher, will know about it. When you've given everything, like truly given it your everything, your legs are fucking jelly. Like, you're struggling to stand back up again. I just finished my leg day and I did a quad finisher, and it was called Quad Death. Not mine. I have to credit the hypertrophy coach for that one. Fucking amazing finisher. And you go Bulgarian split squats. I adjusted it a little bit because I found that it wasn't quite finishing as hard as I wanted after the first round, but it's 10 with weight. So I did 10 with 25 kilos and then each leg, and then I did 10 with 12.5 kilos each leg. Then I did 10 body weight each leg. Then I went to slant board, goblet squat, 10 with the 25, 10 with the 12.5, 10 with body weight, and then go into, I don't know what it's technically called, a kneeling stretch. Is the one where you kneel on the ground and then you fold backwards, like you put your hands behind yourself. Don't know what it's technically called. Anyway, did that 3 rounds. By the 3rd round, you're having arguments with your brain. Like, you're having arguments with yourself. Your body's like, fucking cut this shit out. Like, what are you trying to do to us? What's going on here? And you have to power through. You have to have hard conversations with yourselves. And, if anyone was watching it, they'd probably think I was insane. I'm like, come on, Lockett, quit, don't be a bitch. Don't you fucking stop. And I'm having these arguments with myself because I'm trying to convince my body to just keep going. I'm trying to wring out every last rep. And there was, especially on those final squats, a couple of times my body was like, and you're done. Like, there's 10 reps. And I was like, one more, one more, one more. It's like the classic personal training game where, you know, you've got a rep and they're like, two more. Okay, two more. One more, one more, one more, one more, because you're trying to find the next level. And if it's, you know, 5 more, people won't give it their all. But if it's 1 more, they'll give it everything. And then you just keep pushing until you find that actual outer limit of what is possible. And that's what we're seeking. That's what you need. And to be honest, I think I could have given a little bit more. And I'm a little bit pissed off with myself about it, because I thought I'd tapped everything out, and then I stopped for a minute and I was like, oh, they're fucking jelly, but I think I could do one more. So I did another round. And it's about that. Like, you're the only one who knows truly what's up here. And you can put it out to the world and be like, yeah, I leave it all out on the table. And to the outside world, it might appear that way. It might seem like that. But in all honesty, you're the only one who will know. But it's not about how the outside world views you, it's about how you view yourself. It's how you feel, because only you will know. And who you truly are is who you are when the lights are off, when the door is closed, when nobody is around to see you. That's who you truly are. That's who counts, because that's what will come through in the moments that matter. And it's why I talk about fitness. It's why I talk about it being the gateway drug to everything else. It's the leading you to everything that you need, because it teaches you those skills. It teaches you about what's actually going up in here, about what's real and what's not. Because, well, our life, our world is a projection of our thoughts, our habits, and our actions. All of your reality comes from here. It comes from the mindset first. It comes from those choices. They're the ones that matter. They're the ones that are going to define you. They're the ones that truly matter. And as I said, you're missing out on the results in the inches, not the miles. Because if you're doing the work, if you're showing up and you're giving it your all, you're leaving it all on the table, at least you feel you are, but you're not getting the results that, well, you truly, truly want, well, the gap is here. It's in those little extra moments. It's in those questions between you and you. Do you have a little bit more? Do you have one more in you? And then one more, and then one more. Because that's when you'll find out. You'll find out what truly matters. You'll find out who you truly are. You'll find out where it all is. In the one more. In the one more rep. The one more try. The one more time. You have to learn the separators. And that's where you'll deliver your magic from. That's where you'll find everything that you want. That the results come exponentially when you can dial in the inches, when you can figure out that gap between here and there. As I said, exercise is always the perfect example of that. And it's the little nuanced tweaks that matter. Are your shoulders up a little bit in that row? And did you not push your hips back? Did you not push the knee far enough forward? Did you not reach for the wall? Whatever it might be. But understanding those little extra moments, those little extra details, and not just going through the motions, not just going, I ticked the box. We've discussed this before, that the guy who is sitting on the couch and the guy who's in the gym, yeah, you're doing better than the guy who hasn't done anything. And I'm never going to discourage that, never going to hate on that. But you could be getting so much more. You've put in some effort. Just put in that little bit extra effort to get everything that you want. Because I don't think there's anything more frustrating than doing the work and giving the effort and not getting the results. Yeah, you got to keep showing up. We've talked about it before. Effort, intensity, consistency. The three things that are required to change your life. You just got to keep showing up, and often longer, for way longer than you think it will be. Again, it's why I teach fitness as the method to learn all this. This is just the teaching point. What Demanding Greatness is about you becoming the greatest version of yourself. It's about leading your best possible life. It's about showing up as greatness in your life. That's what this is about. But it starts with fitness because it transfers all the skills. It teaches you that. It teaches that it takes time, that it's not going to happen overnight. It's not one workout, it's not one meal, it's not one day. It's the same commitment over and over and over and over and over again. And you have to keep the intensity high, and you have to keep giving effort, and you have to give it consistently. And then you have to dial in the nuances. You have to dial in the little details. It's also why I strongly recommend that you have a coach, that you have someone in your corner to give you those little details, to give you those nudges, to give you that push in the right direction. Why? Because normally you can't see. It's like being this close to the picture when you got to step back. You can't see it when you're in the weeds. You can't see the beauty of the moment or what's missing when you are nose deep in it. You have to be able to get the bird's eye view, the 1,000-foot view, and be like, this is the gap. This is the bit that's missing. But the chances of you being able to do that to yourself are next to none. You know, it's why you need a coach. I think even the most successful people, even in fitness, in the training, in all that kind of stuff, need someone to coach them, or at bare minimum to critique them. I have people help me with my programs for myself. I know how to write a program. I could write a program in my sleep. I've been doing this for 18 years. It's no dramas for me to write programs. But I know what I like. But I know what I'm good at. But I know what my strengths are. And I tend to lean towards them. It's human nature. Even though I'm like, I want to get myself uncomfortable, I want to push myself, I will still, within that, program more towards what I prefer, more towards what I enjoy. So I need someone else to come in, and I've got friends who help me out with this, who will come critique it for me. Why? So that I don't fall into the trap of just consistently building on my strengths. So that I don't get comfortable. Yeah, in the workouts themselves, I'm smashing myself, I'm pushing myself. I've developed that skill from years of doing this. But there are still gaps. You need people to hold you accountable. You need people to critique you. You need people to be like, is that actually what's best for you right this moment? Is that the best form? Is that the best option? Are you getting the most out of what you're doing? If the answer is a resounding fuck yes, well, then something needs to change. Something needs to be adapted. It's in the inches, not the miles. As I said, you're doing work. I recognize that. You recognize that. But you want to get the results you deserve from it. So we need to tweak it. We need to adjust it. We need to fix it. And keep moving forward. Keep adjusting that. You know, the results you're getting today aren't from today's work. They're from yesterday's work, or last week's work, or last month's work. But you have to adjust that and then be consistent. You have to adjust and give it time and effort. You have to adjust and see what then transpires. Especially if we're talking back to the exercise choice. Your body will naturally do whatever's the easiest way to do it. We're not trying to do the easiest way to do it. We're trying to do it the right way. The way that's going to deliver the results that you are seeking. So you've got to adjust the inches. You've got to adjust the little things. And you probably, as I said, you can't see it in the moment because you're too close to the picture. You can't see it in those things. I film a lot of my workouts just to watch them back and be like, fuck, on that rep there, I cheated because I, whatever, shifted my shoulders. I used too much momentum. I didn't slow it down. I didn't grind out. I think I could have gotten another rep. I called it quits on that. But self-analysis and self-criticism, A, is rare, and B, even within myself, should be harsher. Like, you're going to let yourself off the hook because you know all your quote-unquote valid excuses. You know all your reasoning as to why that rep didn't work, why you didn't grind it out, why you didn't push a little bit further. You do. And even if you're a bit, special in the head, like I am, that, you're looking for the pain, you're looking for it to hurt, you're looking for it to find that degree of you can't even wring out another thing. You probably could, and you need to be able to be harsh and analyze that. I had a client walk in at the tail end of a workout the other day, and I'm doing a finisher, and they were like, "Are you okay?" Because I'm bent over. I've just done a shoulder finisher, and I'm bent over and holding my arms, and they're like, "Oh, are you all right?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. It'll pass in a minute. They're like, "I don't think it's meant to hurt like that." And I was like, it's 100% meant to hurt like that. And I'm trying to convey this to this client, that this is what we're aiming for. This is the goal. This is what we're trying to work for. And it's slow to penetrate. People don't want to recognize that that's what it takes. That if you're going to squeeze the absolute best out of it, that's what is required. It's the inches, not the miles. That I had to push that much harder, that I had to push that much further, that I had to give it that much extra, that like for the next, I think it was 5 minutes or so, I couldn't put my hands above my head. I'm trying to set up for them, and I literally couldn't lift my hands up to do it because my shoulders were that fried. And they're like, "Are you sure you're okay?" And I was like, yeah. Big fucking smile on my face, because that's where it counts. That's where the results come from. That's the difference maker. And that's what you're seeking. And you've got to learn to love that feeling. We spoke about it the other day. The man who loves to walk will walk further than the man who loves the destination. I learned to love that feeling, that burn, that pain, that sensation, that there is nothing fucking left in the tank. I love it, and I seek it, and I want it. So therefore, I get more out of it. But the people who are just looking for the result will stop well before. But the results are in those extra inches. The results are in pushing that little bit further. So, if you know that you aren't wringing every drop out of it, if you are missing those extra inches, shoot me a message, click the link in my bio. Let's get you into demanding greatness. Let's join that, and I will hold you accountable. I will push you, and we will teach you to learn to love that feeling, to wring out every drop out of every workout, and then to wring it out of every life, to step into your greatness, to becoming the greatest version of you. You're already giving effort. Now let's get the results that you deserve. It's on the other side of an investment into you. So click the link in my bio, and let's see you there.